I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and today is November 3rd, and this is our live stream, but I just wanted to let you know this one is actually pre-recorded. I have a kid conflict today, so I am going to something for one of my kids, so I couldn't be here today, but I still wanted to be here for you guys. So we are in the middle of the Petit Four Sew Along, and so let's talk a little bit about that. And then after that, I'm going to show you our monthly specials, and I'm going to unbox a sew sampler box for you guys. So I still have a lot for you guys. So let me just show you right here. Today we're on November 2nd. We're going to make 9 economy blocks using the 4-inch paper, and I'm using the foundation paper pad set for 4-inch size. So I've got all of these. You'll have some leftovers. And I'm using my Kimberly's Foundation Paper Piecing Starter Kit, 2 layer cakes of Blueberry Delight, and I'm using a background. Now the background of Blueberry Delight and the background I'm using are both sold out, and the layer cake is sold out. So I really apologize for that. But this is what we're going to be sewing with today. And I colored mine up, and this is kind of what it looks like. And on the blog, we do have some options for 6-inch and 12-inch, but today I'm only going to be talking about the 4-inch. I did want to show you what I sewed last month since I saw you last. So I made courthouse steps, and I made 8 blocks. And I'll show you how they look. So they look really nice. I love foundation paper. I just love that it comes out so accurate, and that you can just put your 4.5-inch square and it comes out exactly 4.5-inch square. So when you're putting it together, you don't have to worry about any kind of, sorry, I have hiccups, any kind of seams that aren't right. So looks really good, super excited. So the first week we did courthouse steps. This week we're gonna work on the economy block. So we're gonna make 9 of these. And the way that I know is you download this quilt layout at Fat Quarter Shop or the Jolly Jabber blog, and we're gonna make 9. So what I like to do is, if you pull the paper out from the very back or the very front, it's more likely for the pad to fall apart. So what I like to do, I'll pull like 4 out here in one section, and then some others, because I need 9. So I'm going to pull out 3, but I'm going to pull them out in different spots in the pad so my pad stays together. So that's my tip to you, is just pull out from different sections. And then I'm going to need this to know what to cut. That's the inside cover. But before I do anything, I'm going to take the add a quarter plus, and I'm just going to put a little indent. And I do it on all 9 at one time to save time. So anywhere there's these straight lines, I'm going to do this. And you're going to see the Kimberly's Foundation Paper Pad Notion Kit. I use all of this all the time. So everything I'm using probably comes from there. So I've got that done. The next thing I want to do is I need to cut my dark fabrics. So my dark fabrics, I need to cut 1 3-inch square and 2 4-inch squares. And because it's paper piecing, I can actually cut through more layers because it does not have to be accurate. So I'm going to first take my 9 that I haven't used before, because some of these, like this one, I used last month. So I'm just going to take the ones that I have the full layer cake of to start with first, because I'm going to see if what I can get out of those. Okay, so like I said, it's paper piecing, so it doesn't have to be exact. So I need 1 3-inch square. So I'm literally just going to put the ruler right here, and 3 inches is right here. I'm just going to cut that off. And like I said, it's going to get trimmed down, so it doesn't have to be exact. Put that on my design board. And then I need 2 4-inch squares cut on the diagonal. So from there, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to cut a 4-inch. And then a 4-inch here. then I will set this aside to use later. In fact, I'll probably trim that off just to get it out of the way. And you can either keep that or not, but that kind of keeps it nice and neat. From here, I am going to just trim it down to 4 inches and then cut the diagonal. It just makes it easier. And then I'm going to cut on the diagonal once. And this is the economy block. So these are going to be the triangles that go around here, around the outside. Well, actually, they're going to be the middle part, the way we're doing it. And then I'm just going to put these on my design board. And then I had these left over from last week. So these are my layer cakes that we used as part of Courthouse Steps. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut what I can out of here. And what I can get is 2 4-inch squares. I know that. So I'm going to do 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, cut on the diagonal. And I'm not cutting super accurate because I don't have to. So that used up the leftovers from last week, and then I need 1 more 3-inch square. So I'm going to take these and do that same thing. And you see how I'm switching rulers all the time? I do that at home, and I always have a mess of rulers, I will tell you that. So now that I have my colors, what I like to do, and I do this all the time, I like to stack up by color because I want to be able to get to them easily. So first thing is there should be 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's great. And then what I want to do is I want to put all the colors together because then it's just easier to pull the stack at once. So I'll do. I used to not do stuff like this, but this is one of the reasons I can get done so fast because I try to stay organized. Try being the key word. Depends what kind of day I'm having, I think. I guess you guys can probably relate to that. But I do find if I'm more organized, then I'm a little bit happier as I sew. And cutting is my absolute favorite part of quilting. So my sewing machine is actually getting serviced right now, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to cut out like 20 quilts or something because I can't just not quilt. Okay, so I've got this laid out, but now I'm going to make 9, so I need to make 9 light squares. So it says from your light squares, cut 2 3-inch squares, cut on the diagonal. So I need 9 blocks. So 9 times 2 is 18. So I need 18 3-inch squares. 18 times 3 would be 2 strips, I think, if I'm doing my math right in my head. So this is my background. It's just a portion of it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to fold this over. And this is one of the ways I always buy extra background because the way I just cut kind of crazy. And I always order half a yard to a yard extra so that I am able to do stuff like this. So like I said, I need 18 3-inch squares. So I'm going to cut a 6-inch strip. Oh, I need 2 strips. Oh no, it's fine. So I need a 6-inch strip. Now I'm going to cut it into 3 inches. So I'm going to cut 3 inches this way. Now I would never cut this way if this was for a quilt, but this is for foundation paper piecing. So I can be kind of crazy in my cutting. And this one we do cut on the diagonal once. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16, and I need 2 more. So I'm going to save these for later. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in stacks and cut on the diagonal. So hopefully you guys are sewing along. Hopefully you enjoy this sew along. I kind of just want to get to where you guys love foundation paper as much as me. Now here, I feel like this is the most important part, is I need all my backgrounds to be right side up. So I'm going to put them all right side up, so when I'm sewing, I don't have to think about that. And then I'm less likely to pull mistakes out, because when I don't do this, I tend to use the wrong side. And this is a fig tree fabric. It's an eyelet fabric. It is sold out, but I love it. I think I bought a bolt of it. So I just realized I cut this completely backwards. And it's probably because I have some stress in my life right now. So I'm just going to attribute it to that. And I'm going to show you how you make it work. And we'll figure out how we're going to make this work. Now, I might be short fabric, but we'll see. Okay. So the first thing is Denise caught that I did this wrong, and 100% cannot believe I did that. So hopefully you guys weren't cutting along with me. Maybe we'll put a little note at the beginning that says don't cut yet. So I was supposed to reverse it. So this is actually supposed to be this. So I have enough for those. So I'm going to set this aside because I'm not going to use these, and I need bigger ones for the outside actually. And the center is supposed to be white. So this I'm not even going to use. So all I'm going to use from what I just cut was this, and they're going to be too big, but I'm not going to cut them down. Now what I need to do is go backwards, get my background fabric, and fix what I did. So pay attention to dark and light, and pay attention because it's reverse on this. So from my light, I'm going to actually use the instructions for dark. I need 9 3-inch squares and 18 4-inch squares. So I'm gonna use this side. Okay, so I need 9 4-inch squares. Okay, so we're gonna do 4-inch squares for the center. Woo! So now you can all feel like me. This is what I do when I'm in too much of a hurry, but when I'm also just completely stressed out of my mind. Okay, so I said I need 9 4-inch squares, so I think we're gonna get 8 because of the way I cut. This is why I buy extra background, because, so I need 1 more, but what I'm gonna do before I do that is do this. And you know, honestly, if Denise wasn't in the room, I just would have made this whole dang block, and then I probably would have made all 9 wrong. So that is other stuff that happens in my life too. So now I need, I actually need, I'm a mess today. Okay. I need 9 times 2, I need 18 4-inch squares, and I just got 8. So I need 2 more 4-inch strips. And I'm being lazy. I don't want to iron, so I'm just going to cut that off. Now, don't do that at home, but you know, today's one of those days. So, let's see. So I have 8. They also have to go on the diagonal, so I'm going to actually stack them up. So these are the first 8. I'm going to kind of do this number. And since it's foundation, it will totally work. I would never do this if it wasn't foundation paper. So that's 8. This would be 16. So I'm just gonna do 16, and I need 2 more. So I'll save that for something else. I'm gonna actually save that for what I'm gonna do next. 4-inch. Now, because I don't wanna have to flip and put all this right side up, every time I do a triangle, I'm gonna first do it with squares, and it saves half the time. So, now they're all right side up. Okay, and then I need 9 3-inch squares. So I'm gonna get some from here. And this is also left over, so we'll see what we can get. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, my scraps came in handy. 7, 8, 9. Okay, so hopefully we have it cut right. So that is my tip for the day, is pay attention before you cut. And I actually did prep for this video yesterday and everything, so who knows what I was doing wrong. Okay, so now we're gonna work with the foundation paper. And just, you know, if you have mistakes like that, it happens. That's life. It's gonna happen to the best of us. It's gonna happen to pros, beginners, everyone. Just keep your head straight and you should be fine. Now, what I'm gonna do now is I am gonna use my glue. Now, I will say I don't always use the glue, but on this one, I absolutely use the glue because this is such a big piece right here. I find that if I don't use the glue, I will have it off center. So I do find that with this one, I really have to have glue for step 1. So I'm gonna demo one block for you. Now, when you turn it over, you see that little outline, and I'm gonna put a little X. And then when I put this on, I just wanna make sure I'm a 1/4 inch away from that creased line. So I am, and it's off center, it's fine, it doesn't matter. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cut with my add a 1/4 inch away on all 4 sides. And if you didn't glue, this would be dangerous to do up front because if it shifts at all, trust me, how do I know? If it shifts at all, you will have to redo the block. And that has happened to me. That's why I use the glue now. So, and another thing just to say is if I would have made all 9 of these wrong, because if I was at home, I would have made them all 9 wrong. I would just save them and put them on the back of the quilt. So there's always a solution if you lose your mind like me. So now what I'm gonna do, I've got my paper on the wrong side. I have this fabric right side up. And we're gonna follow the arrows. We're gonna add 2 and 3, press, and then 4 and 5 and press. So for 2 and 3, I'm going to just use this one, it's easiest. And these are bigger than they need to be because I cut them wrong. They really need to be much smaller, but it's a waste of my time to cut them down now. I'll just cut them as I go. So yours should not be this big. But what I'll do is place that right sides together and just keep it as even as I can there. And I'm gonna stitch on this line. And I'm gonna stitch from out here, like out here, a 1/4 inch all the way on the line and a 1/4 inch past. Some people don't do that, and you do not have to do that. That's just something I do because I do not want to, I don't want my stitches to come out. So I'm gonna do that. I am gonna use the size 90 needle. I find it 100% imperative that you use 90-inch needle for your paper to come off correctly. And a short stitch length. So I use a 1.0, which is way too short, but I would probably recommend like a 1.2, 1.3. So we're gonna go do that. Okay, so I've got my fabric. It's still in the same place. Turn it over. Turn my stitch length down and stitch. Then I'm going to turn this over, flip it back, making sure that my background is flat. Put the other one on the other side. And I don't use glue at this point. Just make sure it's in place and do that other line. Okay, so here you can see how my stitches go beyond the lines. Now what I want to do is just finger press this down, Do not use seam and just press. And then from here, what I want to do is turn the paper around, flip this up, use your ruler and put it right here on that line, and then trim. Now, sometimes I'll use scissors to do this if I'm just sitting at the sewing machine, but these are really big because obviously I cut wrong. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and add the other two. So you put this one right side together in the center, fold it over, and do that same thing starting before and after. And then finger press. And then here, this is where it's going to look really funny and off from what you're supposed to do because these are way too big. So now I have sewn 1 through 5. Now what I want to do, and you can do this 6 and 7, stop, and then go back and do 8 and 9 later. I usually do all 4 at the same time. So I have these extra stitches, which is why a lot of people don't do it, but I'm going to pull that back. And the reason the lines aren't on the paper is you're technically not supposed to do that. So then I'm going to put this right here, pull this, and cut. Now, if you cut correctly, you wouldn't have these big triangles and you wouldn't have as much left over. And I just do all 4 corners. Okay, so now we're going to add the white. So you'll take 4 of these, and I'm going to do 6, 7, 8, 9. So just do this. Now at this point, it is important for you to center. So if you see how the point is kind of in the center, that's where you want to be. If you're a little bit too off like that, and then you do this, your paper, see, you got to trim, it's going to be too short. So you really use that little tip right there. And I'm going to add these 2, press, and do the same thing. Just making sure you've got right sides up. Okay, now here, this is really important. I'm going to stitch all the way from the edge of the paper, all the way across off the paper. That's just something, I think it comes out better. And then the next one, make sure you center it in the center, like you did the other one. Okay, another thing I want to mention is if you're working with this and your background doesn't cover your dark, you might want to come in and just like trim right there because it will show through. So I made sure that my white covered my dark. And then I'm going to finger press. And then here, this is my life right now, guys. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. Okay, so from here I'm going to pull these. And then this is, see how you can just chop it off with scissors at this point? It's so much easier. And I even sometimes cut the paper just like I just did. But this is what I usually do. Okay. Because, you know, that's really not a big deal. I mean, technically you're supposed to do that. No, but that's what I do. And then the same thing, put right side together. And like what I meant is you don't want to stitch like this, because when you flip this back, you're going to see that blue, especially since it's dark. So you just want to make sure your background covers, that you've got the center here. And again, I'm going to stitch off the paper all the way across. And you don't have to do that. That's just something that I do. And then I'm going to add the other one to the other side, making sure I cover the blue and center it. Okay, so it's nice and flat, and I didn't use steam. From here, and really you want to see the reason you can get these economy blocks so pretty is, see how the points match up perfectly? It's because you're using paper. If you're not, this is all bias, and the paper keeps that bias flat and straight, and so you can see the bias is not moving, and that's because it's on paper. That's how you're able to get these beautiful blocks. So then what I'm going to do is turn this over, and I'm going to use a 4.5-inch square ruler, and I'm going to place that right on those outside lines right there that say trim on this line. And it perfectly fits, and so I'll just trim all 4 sides. I'm a little bit off there. And then I'm going to pull the paper off. So what I like to do for the paper is I do that same thing where I pull all these back. And then just, I go from outside to inside. That's one thing that I do, and then do this. And there'll be some leftover papers that I'll have to show you how to get off, like that, right there. But I go around, press, it just makes it go easier. And then this one you'll have to kind of pull, and that glue, you don't even see it, it's gone. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna pull all these little extra thingamajiggies, just making sure I get all the paper out. And then if there's any extra threads like that, I'll cut it. Now, at this point, if you wanted to, you could steam it and put a clapper on it. So I'm going to do that real quick. So after I've cut it and the paper is off, I'm going to steam it, and I'm going to put this clapper right on it. And what I will tell you that's great about this month compared to last month is this month, obviously, you first need to cut it correctly and you'll be good to go. But this one had more pieces, and I really had to do blocks block by block because I was so afraid I'd put the wrong one on. So this one took me quite a bit because I went really slowly. This one I can go really fast because what I'll do is I'll do all the backgrounds at once. Like, I'll just kind of show you what I'll do. Like, I will do this, like I'm gonna do all these at one time. The key with the glue also is you got to get your piece down quick, because if you don't, your glue's going to dry with the air dries it. So you got to really get it. Ask me how I know that too. And that's way too much glue, but I think finger pressing the glue down really does help. And then from here, I would take my ruler and go through and start trimming. I would trim all 4 at one time. And then I would add these all at one time. I would basically chain. I could do all of this in an hour for sure. So let me know if you have any questions, but I would say the biggest tip with working with paper is having a size 90 needle, using a short stitch length, and folding. And what I mean by folding is every time you fold this, it creates a crease. I create that crease before I stitch and after I stitch, and that paper just comes right off. And we made sure when we did this, this is newspaper weight paper. Sometimes if you're using another brand and the paper's too thick, you will have a hard time pulling the paper off. So let me know if you guys are sewing along. I'd love for you to comment and let me know what fabric you're sewing with. And I love working with Ann Sutton's fabric. It's so pretty, and I do apologize for making the mistake, but guys, it happens to the best of us. So now I'm going to show you the October Sew Sampler unboxing. So this month is super exciting because I happen to personally love what is in the box. It's a total Kimberly box. So when you open it, it says all you need is love. No, you can't see the coupon. There's a coupon on the back. So coupon on the back. So you get actually 3 charm packs. Okay, tell me that's not amazing. And it's the most amazing fabric of 2023. So it's lighthearted charm packs. You get a Quilt As You Go Love Charm Tote. So similar to a previous month, you can make the little tote. If you guys want me to do a video on how to do it, I could definitely do it. But it is so cute. This is how you make it. And if I can make this, you can definitely make it. And you know, the inside we did do a zigzag stitch, and then the top, the binding is just sewn down. We didn't even, we just sewed it down. So really cute, great project bag. I love it. So if you want me to do a video on that, I can. And then we got Camille to design an exclusive lighthearted enamel charm. So the only place you can get it is in this box because there's none available outside of the box. And it is a cute little rainbow, and it matches one of the blocks in the bee book, the bee quilt bee book. And then in the box, we have the most amazing pattern. I'm gonna show it to you in a second, the actual quilt, but here is the pattern. And it is so cute, it's a heart. And you basically have very little waste because you're using all of the charm packs. Now, if you're doing this, and basically, if you're gonna starch these, what I would do, because they're gonna shrink, is I would trim them down to 4.5 inches after you starch them, and then your quilt will come out smaller, or just use the charm pack as is. If it was me, that's what I would do. Lisa Alexander designed this, so cute. You also get this Dritz ruler. It's a seam width gauge, and it's great for when you're working on binding. So you like put it, it's a great marking tool. And this is great if you keep this in the left, like in your little drawer next to you, like where you keep your scissors and your seam ripper, it will come in handy. Just trust me on that. If you don't think you'll use it, I know you will. It's just one of those things that once you use it, you won't want to not use it. And what's great about this box is you can either make the heart and soul or the tote bag, not both. So you can pick. And so we're giving you more options so that it is more, you know, everybody will love it. And then our pressed flowers block 7 is so pretty. Here's the instructions, and here's the block. So pretty. And this is also Ann Sutton fabric, and it would look beautiful also in Blueberry Delight, and really pretty. And we are working on Sew Sampler block for next year, and you're gonna love it just as much. I'm gonna show you the quilt. It was designed by Lisa Alexander. Jessica pieced it, and Joanna Marsh quilted it. And I'm gonna show it to you on the top camera. just so you can see the quilting. So this one, just to show you, we did the quilting, Jessica wanted the quilting really big. And so when you do the quilting bigger, it's gonna be less stiff. So hers is much, and I think she used 100% cotton. So pretty. And now I can show you our monthly specials. So Twinkle by Moda is going to be 20% off for the month of November. And so this is a April Rosenthal basic. It is stars. So there are lots of colors, and there are dark prints, and then there are light prints. My favorite is the white on white, which is right here. And then the Stash and Stores, they're by Itzo Emma, and we have these are 25% off for the month of November, and they come in 2 sizes and tons of colors. So we've got like aqua, mint, white, pink, red, all the colors. They're all on sale. A Scrapbook of Quilts book by Carrie Nelson is 30% off, and after this one sells out, it is going to be discontinued and put as a PDF. So this is going to be the last round of printing that we offer in this book. And then Stacy Itsu, she has some patterns that are so cute. And so these are 30% off for the month of November. And for today, we're going to do a giveaway. And I did want to mention the Sew Sampler boxes. We do have some left over, but we are lowering our ordering. So we will start selling back out of those. So, here is your giveaway. 3 people will win this. You have until Thursday, November 9th to enter. We're going to pick winners next Friday, November 10th. So what I want you to do is tell me, what is your biggest quilting disaster? Because I almost just had one today. What is your biggest quilting disaster? Have you ever made an entire quilt wrong? Because I can totally see that in my future. Anyway, guys, have a great day. I will see you guys soon, and I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend.